Peace, what's going on? It's your boy C. Versi back for another episode of the Talking to Myself podcast. It's been a hot little second and we are back. I've been moving around with this microphone and this ring light, trying to force myself to stop what I'm doing and record more episodes and segments of this podcast. So, it's always a struggle to be more consistent. But if I take this microphone and ring light with me everywhere I go, I can find some time to stop and definitely knock out a segment. Enough segments become a whole episode. So, as always, these episodes start with a question from Poddecks. Poddecks are unique interview questions and episode starting prompts in the palm of your hand. So whether you're a new podcaster or existing broadcaster looking to grow your audience and get more engagement, you're going to want to check out poddecks.com. Use code CDOTVERSY for 10% off your first order. I'm working off of the episode deck. 50 different starting prompts. Let's see what we get. Let's see. I think I did that one already. I never remember if I'm starting from the front or the back. Reverse cast. Start with the result and work backward to the problem. I don't know what that means. I gotta give that one more thought. No, can't do that either because there's no one here to ask me questions. Back to the future. Make some predictions. I can do that. Yeah, so boom. Poddecks topic is Back to the Future. Make some predictions. And I'm pretty good at that. I'm pretty good at assuming what's coming next. So let's put I'm gonna put a time frame on it. Flying cars are going to happen as soon as they figure out what is the what's going to be the aviation rule. Like, what are going to, like, we know what the laws are when we get our driver's license. So what's going to be like, there's a book that has all the laws that's currently in the DMV book. And that's what you study if you want to get your permit, and then that'll help you eventually get your driver's license. So they have to figure out what's going to be our, what is going to be like our driver's ed for the flying car, and then they can roll those out. So once they figure out those regulations, they can roll that out. Sports, I definitely see women's tackle football making a bigger impact than what it's doing right now. Right now, lingerie football is kind of a big thing, but and it's something closer to what the NFL is. And honestly, that might take off and make more money than what's going on with the WNBA. And that's might be based off of strictly like male attraction. Like the football players are, a lot of them are like ex-track runners. I think a lot of guys, and I can't speak for myself because I don't care, but a lot of insecure guys might feel some kind of way about WNBA players because they're tall. I think in some way it might hold them off from finding them attractive. But when you look at these like women that play football, they're not that tall, and they're like I said, the women that used to play like professional volleyball or ran track. So it's already in line with what most men are attracted to. So if someone were to get behind like women's tackle football, removing the lingerie from it, I think it would make more money than the WNBA. Predictions for kids in the future. Well, kids are all just getting, I I was gonna say that kids are getting smarter and smarter, but when I look at footage of how children were in, like, let's say like the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, they spoke a lot more grown up and used big words like adults. When you go back and look at the videos of kids, I just watched the video of kids from like, let's say it was the 50s, and they were making their predictions of what it was going to be like in the year like 2000, maybe 2020, something like that. And just the way they spoke of the future was just very on point, very eloquent, and they just spoke in ways that are clearly not ways that we are speaking right now. So I believe that the smartphones and social media have kind of dumbed us down in a way that how we speak on a day-to-day, but in the same sense, like, the knowledge is everywhere. Like, as soon as a kid has a question, they can look it up and find the answer if there's an answer for it. Like, we all know kids. The kids ask a million questions, and, for the most part, you don't have all the answers, whether you're a parent or the teacher. But now, all the kids have a tablet or a phone or a Chromebook or a MacBook. So anything, all those questions that they used to bombard you with, why is grass green? Why is the sky blue? They can look, because there is a real answer for both of those. They can look that up versus you just, not having an answer for your kid. So I believe that each generation of kids is smarter than the next, but their social skills are a little off. So they don't sound as smart as the kids in the 1950s, but they definitely are smarter. Internet makes the world a lot smaller. Jetsons, I think we're getting closer to what the world was like for the Jetsons. We actually just passed what would have been George Jetson's actual birthday. I don't want this laptop dying. We just passed what would have been George Jetson's birthday, the day he was actually born. So that's interesting. But when I look at the Jetsons, I look at it as the rich people living up top and the poor people living on the bottom. They don't really show you what's on the bottom when you watch the Jetsons cartoon. But there was a Jetsons movie when I was a kid, and they ended up at the bottom. Like, something happened at work. Something happened with a robot that they was trying to get to work with George. He wasn't messing with it. I don't remember the plot to the movie, but somehow they ended up on the ground floor of where the world where the Jetsons live, and we saw that for the first time. And there was people down there that basically didn't have as much money as the people who lived up top. So as a kid, I always saw the Jetsons as rich people living up top, robot maids and whatnot, and the working classes are on the bottom. We're not making, well, not we, God's not making any more land is a popular saying. So people are buying up what they can, but eventually you're gonna have to build up. Not anytime soon, because there's still so much land that has nothing on it. Still so much undiscovered territory. So it's not even about whether it's going to happen soon or not, but it's definitely going to happen. And you'll notice that with areas that have sky laws and sky rules, like in certain I don't even know areas, but let's say like in New York, like if you're building a certain height up, there are sky rules that come into play. I don't know what they are. I just know that I've heard it when I was doing my real estate thing and I was in those circles. So that is something that you have to take into consideration moving forward. Like, what happens when we can't buy and build this way? We're gonna have to go up, and who controls that? Like right now, currently, there's laws for certain things if we were to go to space, or if we were on the moon. Like, it's been certain people's job to already start making and designing and outlining the laws for when we go to space. So we're not close to a lot of the things that I've brought up and mentioned, but we're not far either. I predict that as the sooner that they can get this inner space travel cost down will be the sooner that I can see us really working on outer space travel. Not going anywhere far, not other planets, but just in the sense of just people having the money and there being a system in place that's been tested enough for people to go ride around, get a little closer look at the moon and come back. Not go to it, but yeah, so, and that's just without me even really knowing what is in store. Like, I'm sure if I were to go on to like the NASA website and look at what's available to us, nothing deep, I'm sure that they are working on something or have tested out something. I actually need to go see what's next, because I remember seeing that they were done with the space station. So I need to see what's next, if they're gonna be evacuating everyone from that. Food. I don't have any predictions for food. I don't think I have anything else for sports. Technology. I don't know, man, but bring back the sidekick. And that's facts. Yeah, I don't want to kill you guys off with like dead air, but those are my predictions for the future. This will be a nice timestamp to see how much of that actually happens and comes true. And we'll check back in and we'll see if I'm still talking to myself. But for now, that's what I'm doing. So yeah, let's take a break and then we'll get into the next segment. Or am I just talking to myself? Peace.